guys, long time no see. Lots of stuff has been happening, but hopefully now I'll have more time to do things. I've noticed you guys have been asking me kind of, not a lot of questions, but a lot of the same questions, and I didn't want to address all the comments individually, so I thought I'd address them in a video. Maybe I can better explain it instead of in, like, a dinky little comment. So, one of the questions, or a couple of questions, that I got was from Jennifer Tuttle, and she asks, how wide are my borders in my Book of Shadows, and some recommended fonts. My borders on the, I leave space around the edges so that I don't have to color all the way to the edge and then it gets on the pages and everything. That is going to be about like 1/4 of an inch, sort of, away from the edge of the page, and the actual border itself is going to be about maybe 1/2 inch to an inch, depending on how much content you're going to put in it. If you need to write more on the page, then I would make your border smaller. If you're not gonna, if it's only going to maybe take up half the page, then I would make the borders bigger or put in an illustration or something like that. Recommended fonts, I'm looking off my notes, sorry. What I use for all the little writing and just writing all the information, what I use is Renaissance regular font. If you just Google Renaissance font, it should be like the first one that pops up. That's the one that I use. And but if you want to be a little bit more fancy, what you could do is maybe, in the old storybooks, how the first letter in the story, or the paragraph, or chapter, whatever, the big fancy letter that's just all like, once upon a time. Yeah, just, kind of is big and intricate and all that good stuff. But what you could do is something like that, where I would recommend something like the Old English Gothic font. That tends to be like your traditional big letter with, like when you think of Old English, like the old books with the big letter, that's kind of what it looks like. Any variation of that would be fine. If you're just going to do what I do and just write a whole bunch of stuff, a whole bunch of information, but you want it to look nice, I would use any of the Renaissance fonts. Those are going to be a little bit more swoopy and curly, and but I wouldn't do too much curl, just because you don't want to be doing 5 swirls to make an 5 swirls to make an H. You want to be able to write it fast enough so you're not sitting there and it takes you half an hour to write a sentence, because that's not going to be any fun. Some easy, if you want to be fancy without being overly fancy, some good easy ones to copy. This is very important. Always get a font that is easy for you to copy. If you can't do all the fancy swirls, why not make it look like a scrapbook? Just do your regular handwriting, make it look nice, and put it in a scrapbook type form. That way it doesn't look out of place, or it feels a bit more homemade, I guess. But if you want to attempt to be a little bit fancy, I would recommend Freebooter Script. That's FREEBOOTER. That one's a little bit swirly. These are all kind of swirly. Brock, or Brack, BRACK Script. All Afternoon Delight, but the all is an AL, so I guess it's an AL, Afternoon Delight. And O, as in just the letter O, and then calligraphy. Just type those into Google, and it'll pop up the font that you're looking for, because those you write it in the name and then it'll give you the actual font. But those are the ones that I recommend. Again, just try to do something that's easy for you to copy. Even with my titles, if you notice, I get kind of crazy with the different fonts for my titles. I always pick something that I can copy. If I can't freehand it just by looking at it, then I don't do it, just because that's going to take forever and I am impatient. The next question I have is, am I going to make a new BOS update? And that's from Ivy Mist and a couple of other people. And I just realized that the last time I did an update was exactly a year ago today. and I've kind of been putting off doing an update because I don't feel like I did a whole lot. I don't feel like I did enough to really count, like, to be enough to make an update, because I don't want to, like, keep showing you the same old stuff. It's like, oh, look, I just colored it, and oh, look, I just, did more writing or something like that for 2 pages or whatever. I want to, like, get a lot of things done so you can just see all the cool, pretty stuff. But I went back through the last video that I made, and I guess I kind of did a lot, but it just doesn't feel like I did. So I will most likely be making that today, and that'll probably be the next video that I put up. So you guys are welcome. Next question: did you collect all your information first so you knew where you were going to put things, and if so, what did you use to store it in? And that's from D Walker, a lot of numbers, D Walker 28091986. What I did is, when I first started out, I researched a lot. I read a lot of books, and I kind of stored it all in my brain. And when I read about the Book of Shadows, I'm like, oh, well, that's a good idea to write everything down so I don't really have to remember it all, because I'm lazy that way. And so I did take a 3-ring binder, or I just started out with just cheap notebooks, just writing everything down. And I wrote it in a 3-ring binder and just kind of wrote down everything I wanted to know, just to have it. And then when I seriously considered making my Book of Shadows and putting it together, that's when I kind of put some thought into how I'm going to put everything in my book, because I didn't want it scattered. I wanted it to have some kind of order that didn't seem like I planned it so much, just because, like, it makes sense to put all the rituals together, like all the sabbats, all the esbats, all the different, like, how to cast the circle and all that good stuff with the rituals. That makes sense to group it all together. It would make sense to put all the different divinations and stuff like that together. And so I wanted to organize it that way, and I did with the 3-ring binder. I kind of rearranged and put information where, and then that helped me plan out where to put everything in my BOS. And that's what I did. That's even before I started writing anything. I did everything in pencil. I planned it out. Okay, I'm going to need about maybe this many pages for this section and about that many pages for that section. And I just kind of really planned and kind of cram and make room for things, so I can get all the information. Because even over time, I realized that, oh, here's something new, and I want to put it in my Book of Shadows, but where am I going to put it? So I have to rearrange things that I haven't put in there yet so I can make room for all this new stuff. So it's like organized but not organized. How to make, am I going to make a series showing you guys how to make a Book of Shadows series? I learned from my friend, his name is John, but on YouTube, he has a YouTube video called, his YouTube video name is Eowyn Hawthorne, and in my first Book of Shadows video, I posted a link, because I'd always get this question, but I can't exactly drop $300 just to make another Book of Shadows, to show you guys how to make a Book of Shadows. So he made a how-to video. It's the exact same method that I used. He is the one who walked me step by step how to make my Book of Shadows. And I posted it in the information, like, down below thing. And I think I'll put it in all of my Book of Shadows videos, just because a lot of people keep asking me. So just click on that. He already completed it, so you don't have to wait for any more updates or anything like that. And he gives you lots of cool options. If you can't find all the materials and stuff like that, definitely check it out. But I will not be making I will not be making a how to make a Book of Shadows video, just because he already has it up and I don't have the money to do that. But if I could, I would. A lot of people have been having issues with ink. A lot of you guys have been using Sharpies, just like me, but you guys have told me that it bleeds through. Now, I don't know how bad it's been bleeding through with you guys, because it still bleeds through on mine. Enough to notice when the other side is blank, like say I write stuff down and I flip it over, you can still kind of see it on the other side, but it's not enough to really like, oh no, this page is ruined. And that's because I used parchment. You want to make sure that you get parchment paper because it's thicker than regular paper and it's going to be more durable and withstand the bleeding. At Hobby Lobby, there's, in the back, should be in the back, kind of by the paints, there should be like an aisle for strictly calligraphy where you can get inks, you can get pens, you can get papers, you can get different colors and glitter and stuff to emboss it with and all this other cool stuff. But it comes in big packages like I can't show you with my other hand, but imagine my book when it's folded open. It's about that big. Of just like, I think it was like 25. Yeah, like 25 pages of, I got aged parchment. That's, you have parchment, which is a bit whiter, and then you have aged parchment which has that yellow tone to it. Those are going to be better. If you are working with thinner paper and it is bleeding through, I would use a Precise V5 pen. Not a ballpoint pen. Never use ballpoint pens because they're going to look like crap. You want something that really puts a lot of ink onto the page so it looks nice, it's clear, but doesn't bleed through. Precise V8 kind of does it. You can really tell, like, if it's a point or like a needle point or it's hard to explain. It's like the V5. It has like this needle point and it has little holes at the end, and the ink kind of comes out through those holes. And that really gets the ink on without bleeding through. I really recommend something like that or the Precise V5. That's going to help a lot with your bleeding problem. Even with regular paper, like what the Sharpie does to my parchment paper, that's what the Precise V5 is going to do for like regularish paper. I can't really recommend any specific pen brands. You're just going to kind of have to look around. Any calligraphy or pen fanatics will understand the awesomeness of a very good pen. And they're always good to have. But a lot of, next question. Some of you guys have been asking me, where did I find all my information? Like, you know, can I give information out of my Book of Shadows? So I forget who it was, but somebody even asked me to do a video about Epona because they're having a hard time finding information about her, which I could do that. I mean, I never know what to make, you guys, like video-wise. So I really need suggestions, which is why I finally made a video about your guys' questions, because I have enough questions to answer and make a video. But, yeah, I can probably just start at the beginning, work my way through my Book of Shadows, kind of, you know, first page will probably, or the first one will be the first pages, which is like the Wiccan read. Maybe read through that, kind of give my opinion about the meaning of it. And just kind of go through, maybe do a video about Lou, and Bridget, and Caradwyn, and all that good stuff. But I believe that's all your guys' questions. So, yeah. I'm going to try to make videos. I'm not going to promise anything because you know how horrible I am about keeping these kind of promises. I keep making videos about, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and then I never do it, and then you guys are disappointed, and I feel bad. And, so I'm going to try. I'm not going to plan anything, but I'm going to try. Because I really need to get back into the rhythm of things because I've been way too busy with work, and I'm tired all the time. And I've even gotten too tired to write my book, really, lately. It's kind of bad. I should probably do that today. I'm going to be lazy. I have today, tomorrow, and Sunday off, so I have 3 days to be lazy. Yes! But yeah, I think that's it. So, talk to you guys later. Bless me. Mwah!